wanting to do a video message for a couple weeks now, but just can never seem to find some quiet time to do it. But there's a couple reasons why I wanted to do this. One is because I wanted to share my experience because I think that it's far more common than I knew, and maybe someone can benefit from what I went through. But the main reason that I wanted to do this video message, whatever, is because of the extraordinary amount of kindness that I witnessed during my ordeal. And it's still going on, but that's okay. I was going to do this in front of the computer so that I could actually share a lot of the messages and things that I received on social media. But my toddler is napping upstairs and I didn't want to be a part of waking her up. So what I wanted to share is that March 2nd of 2016, I attended work at I should say I attended work in Texas. I actually live in Maryland, but I was traveling for work in Texas, so I was in Texas at the time, and went to work just like any other day, and started eating lunch. It was probably around noon, and began having some vision changes, basically gray spots in front of my eyes, followed by a pretty serious headache. I honestly thought that I was having like a low blood sugar thing because long story short, I had gestational diabetes with my daughter 2 years ago when I was pregnant with her, and I just thought maybe I was diabetic and didn't know it. Long story short, a coworker offered to take me back to our hotel, and as we're driving back, I just felt even worse than I did 30 minutes prior, and she said, maybe I should take you to an urgent care. I said, I think I actually need to go to an ER. So we ended up at our first ER, and they did the doctor thought I was having an anxiety attack, which made my blood pressure go up because, quite frankly, I don't have anxiety attacks. I don't like taking prescription medication, and of course they wanted to immediately inject me with some type of anxiety-reducing type narcotic or something. I don't even know what it was. Maybe it wasn't a narcotic, but I don't like meds, so I wasn't impressed with that. My coworker sat with me in the ER, coworker and friend, and supported and stood up for me when the person tried to offer me the anxiety medicine. I insisted to the doctor, look, this isn't an anxiety attack. I don't have anxiety attacks. I'm actually due to fly home tomorrow. My flight was leaving at 4:50 on March 13th. So here I am in the ER the day before I'm supposed to be home. I had been in Texas since February 22nd. So away from my 2 kids, my husband, my youngest just turned 2 in March, and my oldest just turned 9. I'm making this video in April. But I wanted to get home. So she said, we'll do a CAT scan. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but we'll do that as a precaution. So long story short, she comes back, I thought your CAT scan was going to be normal, but it's not. They actually found a mass. So first thoughts were, honestly, okay, well, I know a lot of people that have been through a lot of crap, including someone that I know right now that's going through pancreatic cancer and actually doing very well with it, by the way. So I thought, okay, tumor, mass, whatever, they either remove that or you get treated for it. So it is what it is. So she said to me, so we're going to have to transfer you to a special center, a special hospital, and you're going to have that removed. You're not going to be free to leave. And I said, leave, she's like, you're not going to be free to fly, and you can't leave Texas. We're going to have to go ahead and get it removed. And it was just flabbergasted, basically. That's kind of when I think I broke down for like 15 seconds initially when she told me I had a tumor. 10 seconds. I mean, I don't even know. My friend probably remembers better than I do. But when they told me I couldn't go home, that really, that crushed me. I'm sure you can maybe fathom, understand what it's like to be given that news, and secondly, to be given it when you're that far away from your family. Anyway, so here I am today. So I was transported to a hospital about 30 minutes north of the hospital that I was in, an actual very good hospital that's known for basically neurosurgery and spinal surgery. So I was in the right place. They showed me my CAT scan when I got there and said that basically the ventricles in my brain were swollen. They weren't quite sure if that was related to the tumor or if it wasn't. Basically, the tumor was at the base of my skull. I think it's called the cerebral cortex, maybe. So that's where it was. But my ventricles that are on top were, the doctor told me, twice the size that they're supposed to be for someone my age. So I'm thinking, okay, this is great. So from there, this was, the same day. Needless to say, I had surgery on Friday, March 4th. My brother flew out first. He was the first one there, and just goes to show you how fantastic family can be in a time of desperation and need. My husband did come out. My mom took care of our 2 children. Of course, she was a wreck, but she stayed strong for them. And March 4th was the surgery. Still not free to, so long story short, I recovered pretty well. I was actually walking in the hospital within like a day of the surgery, and they were very impressed with how well I did. I left out a very important part, but the neurosurgeon was pretty positive even before he went in that the tumor was going to be benign. He was 95% certain. Long story short, the pathology test did come back prior to me leaving the Plano, Texas hospital, and it was negative, so we're good there. It's a benign mass. When I left there, I had a whole head of hair, believe it or not. I had, basically, they had done a nice job and just shaved from the base of my neck kind of up to maybe the middle, maybe a little higher of my skull for the incision. Took a piece of my skull off that they said I wouldn't need and I wouldn't be getting back, and also took a piece of my, I think it's like my, I don't even know anymore, my neck bone, or I don't know, something from back there that they said I wouldn't need. So my husband and I could not fly back, so he had to drive from Texas to Maryland with me, a patient, in the passenger seat of, I think we had like a Toyota Avalon or something, a very nice sedan, by the way, and Eric wanted, or no, it wasn't, sorry, it was a Dodge, it was an SUV, sorry, I don't even remember, things are a little blurry, but, so he drove 5 to 6 hours the first day, 5 to 6 hours the second day, and 11 hours. He got us home on the third day. Love him. He drove 11 hours straight because I told him I don't want to get to Virginia and have to do another, hotel stay, another night in a hotel. I was taking medication, so it rained for the first 2 days while he drove. So not only did he have to worry about driving for such a long period of time, but getting into an accident with someone who just had major brain surgery. So I'm sure that it was really fun for him and very stress-free, so to speak. We did enjoy ourselves, though. We made a couple videos, shared them with some of our friends on Facebook, and tried to enjoy the ride as best we could. I either slept or just completely had my seat back the entire time and just tried to relax, basically. So we get home. We were home for, I don't even remember dates anymore, but we got home on a Friday, so whatever the Friday was, I got released on a Wednesday, I think. Does that make sense? Alright, I don't even know anymore. But we did get home on a Friday. I was doing really well, progressing well, walking more as the days went on. We actually decided to go to the mall on like I think it was a Wednesday or something like that. We took our little girl. Of course, my husband took off work, but just walked around the mall. Very slow pace. Yes, I looked like I was 107. I didn't care. I was out of the house, and I was trying to be as active as I possibly could, but I did feel pretty well. Thursday, things changed a little bit. So around 10ish, had an excruciating headache. Took a muscle relaxer just thinking, okay, maybe it's my head or neck or something. I really didn't know, but I knew that it wasn't normal because I hadn't been taking any of my medication up to this point. I was trying just to solely go off of Tylenol alone when I needed it. Remember, I told you I don't like medication. But anyway, so around noon, after the muscle relaxer did nothing, I took a Tylenol with codeine that I had been given. Again, hadn't taken many of those up to this point. I had taken a couple at nighttime trying to sleep because the pain in my neck and just it was not happening. So that was noon. Waited an hour, nothing. Waited an hour and a half, nothing. Waited 2 hours, no relief. I mean, the pain in my head, I just can't even explain it to you. But I finally said to my husband, I think we need to call 911. So I'm laying in the bed in our house. He's taking care of our toddler, and I'm sure he's thinking, oh, Jesus. He said, I can definitely drive you to the hospital. I don't know, something said to me I needed to get there quickly, whatever. So 2 EMTs responded to our house, gave them the whole shebang, the whole history, and they went outside the norm and took me to a hospital that was in Baltimore City, which actually is the hospital I was referred to by my neurosurgeon in Texas, because he did his residency under the neurosurgeon here at the University of Maryland. So that was okay with me. I had an appointment with him scheduled for April, and I had given all this information to the EMTs, and they decided that based on what was going on with me that I needed to go there, not to the hospital that was closest. So they drove me about 20 to 25 minutes away from our house into Baltimore City so that I could be where I needed to be. Now, this is where I'm not sure of the information, but apparently there wasn't a room for me when we got there, and the pressure in my head registered like a 30, which apparently it's not supposed to be greater than a 15. So they decided that it had to be done immediately, that I needed a temporary drain put in my head that basically would release the fluid that had built up, and that's basically what I was feeling, the pressure. So that's what this scar is from here, but you see it is healing up nicely. I think eventually hair will start to grow there. I think I have a little dry skin, but it's to be expected, right? So this is where they put the temporary drain in. Immediately felt a release of pressure. Was in their ICU, God, I don't even know, too long. I don't know. It was a pretty, I tried to be as positive as I could, but it was, I had IVs in both arms. A few of the nurses were not the nicest nurses. A few of them, I felt like I was putting them out by asking them to go to the bathroom. Um, don't get me wrong, the majority of them were phenomenal human beings and did their job really well, but it is amazing when you're going through something like this how the negative can really have a huge impact and kind of stick out a little bit more than the good stuff. But so got out of there, and needless to say, I am home now. I don't remember what date I got out of that. I went from the ICU down to a room to be discharged, and I was literally discharged the next day. So I spent the majority of my time in the ICU. Um, but during the Texas thing, um, the ordeal being away, the response, the overwhelming acts of kindness that I received, the messages, the prayers, the positive energy that I received was more overwhelming than I could even possibly put into words in a video. I had a friend make me a t-shirt. So this is what I'm sporting today. And it says, I survived brain tumors. What's your superhero? I had people send cards, flowers, candies, chocolates, cookies, fruit baskets with all kinds of stuff in them. I had people sharing my husband's, because my husband was posting updates so that people would know how I was doing. I had people sharing that post, asking for their friends and family to pray, even though those people didn't know me. So, I mean, it was just spreading like wildfire, this overwhelming support. So I'm going to get teary-eyed, but that's just because I'm also an emotional basket case. Even after when I got home and I was admitted into the University of Maryland, I can't even count how many people came to see me, and some people that I haven't seen in quite some time. But people took time out of their day, away from work. One person actually took off half a day and brought me lunch. It's amazing what small things you can do as a human being that really make a powerful impact to someone else. And I really wanted to send this because of all the negative crap that's in the news, and I'm not even going to honor those people by using names, but we each have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to share good things, to be good people, to enjoy the goodness that's around us. We're all going to have bad days. Trust me, I have had some really, really bad days. All my friends, tell me that I'm really strong and, that they admire me, yada, yada, yada. Trust me, I've had my moments. I've had my weaknesses. I haven't been the nicest to my husband and my kids on occasion. Been pretty grouchy. But we can make choices, and we have choices to be better people. We have choices to be part of the good that is in the world, and not be part of the negative, nasty, pointing the fingers, the hatred, the intolerance that exists. There's just no room. There's no room for that. There isn't. There is only room for more good. And I just hope that, maybe my story inspires you to do something good for someone else. If not, pretend to do something good, and maybe it'll turn into something good someday. Thanks for taking 20 minutes out of your day and watching this crazy video. But if you are a part of those positive vibes and energy and those prayers that I received, really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm so glad to have you guys on my friends list. So thank you, and just do something good. Okay.